يعني نستمر قراءتنا في مقدمة ابن خلدون. هذا الفصل إن شاء الله نقرأ الفصل السادس من الكتاب الأول في العلوم وأصنافها والتعليم وتركه وما يعرض في ذلك كله من الأحوال. نعم. هذا الفصل السادس من المقدمة. هذا القسم ناقص في بعض الطبعات وموجود في بعض الطبعات. نعم، يعني انتبهوا على هذا، يعني ممكن غير موجود عندكم أو موجود، يعني يختلف. عندي طبعات مختلفة في بعضهم، هذا خصوصا بداية الفصل غير موجود. نعم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا وحبيبنا وطبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. رب زدنا علما وفهما وإيمانا وأخلاقا والحقنا بالصالحين. المقدمة في الفكر الإنساني الذي تميز به البشر عن الحيوانات. So this chapter is about al-fikr al-insani, human thinking, human reasoning, with which human beings are distinguished from other living beings. So basically Ibn Khaldun is saying that al-fikr is what distinguishes human beings from other living beings. So we have so many other animals, but they don't have fikr. Okay, and he will explain what's fikr, and how human beings are distinguished from other living beings. واهتدى به لتحصيل معاشه والتعاون عليه بأبناء جنسه. And so what is this fikr for? So this fikr is for لتحصيل معاشه. So like human beings use this fikr to gain their provision, their food and everything that they need, to continue their life. So this is one benefit of having al-fikr. The second benefit of having al-fikr is وَالتَّعَاوُنْ عَلَيْهِ بِأَبْنَاءِ جِنْسِهِ. So how they collaborate and cooperate with other human beings. So basically building a society, building a social organization. So human beings, use fikr first to acquire whatever they need to continue their life. Basically like a food, clothing, housing, etc. To meet their needs. This is one thing. And the second, to how to collaborate with other human beings, which requires adab, which requires ethics, which requires law, division of labor, political system, like all these things. But more than that, وَالنَّظَرْ فِي مَعْبُودِهِ, and also thinking about their creator, Allah Ta'ala. So they use fikr to discover their creator, to discover their God, their Lord, their ma'bud. وَمَا جَاءَتْ بِهِ الرُّسُلْ مِنْ عِنْدِهِ, and also what the messengers of Allah brought from Allah Ta'ala. So they use their fikr to understand divine message. So these are the benefits or the functions of having al-fikr. فصار جميع الحيوانات في طاعته وملكة قدرته. And as a result, of having al-fikr, all living beings became subjugated to human power. So fikr empowered human beings and by using fikr that human beings have, they subjugated all other living beings, all other animals. Let's say you have elephants, maybe 10 times bigger, like the camel, 5 times bigger than a human being. But human being subjugates this big animal. How? By using his fikr. وَفَضَّلَهُ بِهِ عَلَى كَثِيرٍ مِّنْ خَلْقِهِ. And Allah Ta'ala made human beings superior over other creatures with al-fikr. So by giving al-fikr to human beings, Allah Ta'ala elevated them above all other or many other kinds of creation. This is the مقدمة. So في الفكر الإنساني. So now what's الفكر الإنساني? So he first begins with introducing what's الفكر الإنساني. علم أن الله سبحانه ميز البشر عن سائر الحيوانات بالفكر. So Allah Ta'ala distinguished human beings from other creatures by bestowing upon them al-fikr. الذي جعله مبدأ كماله. So fikr is the foundation of human perfection. This is the foundation of human perfection. وَنِهَايَةْ فَضْلِهِ عَلَى الْكَائِنَاتِ. But at the same time, it is the end point of his superiority over other beings. وَشَرَفِهِ. And also the prestige and honor of a human being comes from al-fikr. So وَذَلِكَ why this is so? Why this is so? Why is al-fikr is the foundation for human perfection? Without fikr, you cannot have kamal. Because human beings are not born with kamal. They are born with kamal, but this kamal is open for more takmil. Like Allah Ta'ala creates us with ahsan takwin. But then, this ahsan takwin is not the end of levels of kamal human beings can reach. So there is room for improvement, and this is called takmil. So, so this fikr is the mabda kamalina. So this is the foundation, of our kamal. But at the same time, nihayat. There is nihayat, of this kamal, and this is fadl, for human beings to be superior over other creatures. So animals, they are born in a perfect way, but there is very little room in animals for improvement. So that's why they cannot get educated too much. You can only teach simple things, not too more. But human beings, they have room for perfection. They have room for takmil, to improve themselves. That's why we have schools. That's why we have education. That's why we have ta'aleem. So let's say a giraffe is perfect, when it is born, and you cannot make giraffe something like more educated compared to other giraffes. Same thing with the horse, chicken, all of them. So what it is the same with what it ought to be. So there is little room for education, for training. But when it comes to human being, there's a big potential. There's a big potential for improvement. And And this improvement is achieved through ta'lim, tarbiyah, education. وذلك أن الإدراك وهو شعور المدرك في ذاته بما هو خارج عن ذاته هو خاص بالحيوان فقط من بين سائر الكائنات والموجودات. So al-idrak, this consciousness, al-idrak, and he defines al-idrak as شعور المدرك في ذاته بما هو خارج عن ذاته. So awareness of a creature about the things that exist outside of himself. So like a human being is aware of his or her own existence. That you know that you exist, right? You know that you exist? Alhamdulillah. What's your proof?
My feelings.
Your feelings?
Yeah, that I don't have anything to disprove it.
Yeah, so this is like a big and challenging question, you know, like how one can prove his own existence. This is this is what you call bedihi or awaliyat, yani something that doesn't need any proof. We just take it for granted, we just accept it. You know, it's famous that Descartes said, "I think, therefore I am." But this is nonsense. Why? Because he's trying to prove I, you know, but I comes in the premise. I should come at the end, right? In the conclusion. So I exist, I think, therefore I am. No. If you are trying to prove that I exist, it should come in the conclusion, not in the premise. So it's a logical fallacy. This is not something easy to prove using logic, and this can be used as a proof that logic is not like so powerful all the time. There are areas which logic doesn't work, in particular proving your own existence. So anyway, we by nature know that we exist without any need for proof. This is bedihi, this is awali, but at the same time we know that there are other creatures which exist outside of us. Okay, so this is idrak, this is self-knowledge and the knowledge of other things. This is al-idrak, al-shu'ur. But this is a great blessing from Allah Ta'ala that He bestowed upon us self-consciousness, knowledge of our own existence. Perhaps you have never thought about this, that this is a big ni'mat from Allah Ta'ala, that you know you exist. So sometimes, like human beings, they lose this shu'ur, this idrak. They don't know they exist. See what I mean? And also, like it's a great ni'mat from Allah Ta'ala that we know that there are other things which exist around us. Because sometimes you have people with mental problems, they are not aware that things exist outside themselves. So this is wujud and wijdan. Allah Ta'ala gave us two things, wujud and wijdan. Like wujud, our own existence, and wijdan, we find that we exist. So if He gave us only wujud without wijdan, we wouldn't be aware of our own existence. So He gave us wijdan. It comes from wajada yajidu, like as if you are finding your own self, that you exist. Finding your own self, this wijdan. So wujud is a ni'mat from Allah, and wijdan is a greater ni'mat from Allah. So we have wujud and we have wijdan, but at the same time shu'ur, idrak, that there are other things which exist outside of us. And this idrak خاص بالحيوان. This idrak is only for living beings. Living beings. فقط من بين سائر الكائنات والموجودات. But this can also be questions because like when you read Quran, you see that even material beings, they have self-consciousness about their existence and also existence of Allah Ta'ala. نعم. الرعد يسبح بحمد ربي. يعني كل من في الأرض يسبح. يعني so our concept of matter is not an unconscious being. They have their own type of consciousness. So they make tasbih of Allah Ta'ala, they make hamd of Allah Ta'ala, praise of Allah Ta'ala. But what's a prerequisite for making tasbih? So prerequisite for tasbih is first vijdan, a consciousness about their own existence, and also a idrak, consciousness about the existence of Allah Ta'ala, right? First. Second, language. So they have a language special to them, which helps them communicate with Allah Ta'ala. And Allah Ta'ala communicates with the earth, with the samawat, so there is communication going on between Allah Ta'ala and all these beings. And also, these material beings, they have memory. What's the dalil that those material beings have memory? Can you give me a dalil? No, this is no. We are talking about not animals, like material beings. Huh? Yeah, give me a dalil from Quran. But this is not about the memory. This is about communication. So this is about communication. So Allah Ta'ala communicated with the samawat and ard. يومئذ تحدث أخبارها. Okay, on the day of judgment, earth will give testimony, will report, about what happened on the earth. So earth is like a hard disk, like a video recording, everything. It's like all the material beings, they have like a memory, like this room is recording our existence here. Of course, our technology did not reach, to this level of knowing how it records. But there are studies, even like in physics, they are studying these things. So anyway, this is my sharh. And on this, but of course, this idrak is not like a usual idrak, or this language is not the usual way. It's a different way of things. So, فالحيوانات تشعر بما هو خارج عن ذاتها بما ركب الله فيها من الحواس الظاهرة. So, like animals, use their five sense perception to know that there are beings which exist outside of themselves. السمع والبصر والشم والذوق واللمس. So these are common with all animals and human beings. ويزيد الإنسان من بينها أنه يدرك الخارج عن ذاته بالفكر الذي وراء حسه. But human beings, they have something above this five sense perception, which helps them go beyond the data they collect through sense perception. Okay, so this is al-fikr. So al-fikr, helps human beings analyze this data and move about the data. But other animals, other living beings, because they don't have fikr, they cannot go beyond what they collect around them through sense perception. Okay? وذلك بقوى جعلت له في بطون دماغه. And how human beings go about the data they collect through sense perception, because Allah Ta'ala gave some powers, some abilities, which is in their brain, dimag, in their mind. So Allah Ta'ala put some faculties or powers in the mind of people. So they use this al-quwa to analyze the data, to use this data, and to go about this data. But this quwa fi butuni dimaghihi, this doesn't exist in animals. They don't have this. ينتزع بها صور المحسوسات ويجول بذهنه فيها. So using this power in his mind, he abstracts concepts from the data which he collected through five sense perception. Al-mahsusat. Al-mahsusat. Al-mahsusat, the data you are collecting through your senses. These are called al-mahsusat. So human beings, they abstract things from al-mahsusat. وَيَجُولُ بِذِهْنِهِ فِيهَا. And by using dhihin, a human being wanders, around these images he collected through sense perception from the world. So here you see the concept dhihin is very important, dima is very important. These are instruments of al-fikr. So dima refers more to the actual brain, but dhihin is something connected to the brain but above the brain. And zihin is what I translate as mind. So in Islamic philosophy we have al-wujud al-dhihni. Al-wujud al-dhihni. So these ideas, these concepts, they exist in al-dhihn, which I translate to English as mind. So this is called wujud dhihni. So there is wujud dhihni and this is wujud khariji. There are certain things that exist in our mind, these ideas, concepts, etc. And then things that exist outside our mind. So those idealist philosophers, they focus on al-wujud al-dhihni, the ideal beings, which is in the mind. The materialist, they focus on wujud khariji or al-wujud al-aini, the things that exist outside the mind. Okay, but for us, this is a false dichotomy. It's a pseudo-binary, like the ideal existence versus material existence. This is a false dichotomy for us because we accept maratib al-wujud. Maratib al-wujud. For us, the material existence is one level of existence, and wujud dhihni is another level of existence in maratib al-wujud, and they are all interconnected with each other. No need to have a dichotomy. Let me give an example for this. Let's say now we are in this room, right? But at the same time, the image of this room is in our mind. So as scholars, philosophers, which one we should focus on and study? The idea of the room in our minds, in our dhihin, or the room itself? So the materialists, they say, forget the idea or the concept or image of the room in your mind. They say this is nothing, it doesn't exist. Focus on the material room that exists outside your mind. So the idealists, they say, no, this material being is not so important. What's important is the concept, the idea of the room in the mind. Let's focus on it. Of course, this is a discussion more than 2,000 years old in Western philosophy. But for us, we accept maratib al-wujud, multiplex ontology. This outside existence is on one level of existence, and the mental existence is another level of existence. And then we have divine existence. يعني وجود الله تعالى. وجود الله تعالى مختلف تماما عن الوجود الذهني والوجود الخارجي. يعني ليس كمثله شيء. يقول هو الله أحد. يعني هو يعني خاص بنوعه ولا يوجد أي شيء مثله. So we accept three levels of existence. Okay. So human beings, ينتزع بها يعني بالدماء بالقوة في الدماء بما بها صور المحسوسات ويجول بذهنه فيها فيجرد منها صورا أخرى, and then abstracts other images, other concepts, other ideas from the images he or she collects from the material world around himself. والفكر هو التصرف في تلك الصور. So thinking is using these images in mind. So we have so many images, so many concepts in our mind. فكر, thinking means التصرف في تلك الصور, manipulating them, using them, وراء الحس, beyond sense perception. وجولان الذهن فيها بالانتزاع والتركيب, and also movement of the mind through abstraction and synthesis. Tarkib, synthesis. So you bring those images together and then produce an idea. Okay, so that's the definition of al-fikr. Al-fikr هو التصرف في تلك الصور وراء الحس وجولان الذهن فيها بالانتزاع والتركيب. That's the definition of al-fikr. Okay, so operation of the mind in those abstract images, in our mind, by making further abstractions and also synthesizing them together, discovering the connections between them. So that's al-fikr. وهو معنى الأفئدة من قوله تعالى جعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة. So that's the meaning of فؤاد, and the جمع فؤاد الأفئدة. الأفئدة جمع فؤاد وهو هنا الفكر. So that's الفكر. So Allah Ta'ala gave us سمع, and then He gave us أبصار, and then He gave us أفئدة. But He says وهو على مراتب. So this fikr has levels of thinking. It's not like a single level. There are different types and there are different levels of thinking. مراتب الفكر. الأولى تعقل الأمور المرتبة في الخارج ترتيبا طبيعيا أو وضعيا. So the first level of it, reasoning, the order outside the mind. يعني في الخارج means outside the mind. يعني وجود خارجي كما قلت, يعني وجود خارجي وجود عيني, يعني outside of human being. So there is order. And this order usually cause and effect. It's based on cause and effect. سبب ونتيجة. سبب ونتيجة. So this is how الأمور المرتبة. Yeah, so there are ترتيب سبب ونتيجة في خارج الدين. And this ترتيب is either طبيعي or وضعي. Human beings make this ترتيب. So now we know azan is given, and then the iqamat will be given, and then there will be salat. So this is wad'i. This is wad'i. But at the same time, you know that the sun rose in the morning, it will set in the evening, and then it will rise again next day morning, right? So that's يعني طبيعي, ترتيب طبيعي, and there is ترتيب وضعي. ليقصد إيقاعها بقدرته. So why a human being learns this cause and effect order, and this tartib, so that he can do it himself by using his power. Okay? وهذا الفكر أكثره تصورات. So this kind of thinking is about concepts, images in the mind. وهو العقل التمييزي. So he calls this al-aql tamyizi. It means distinguishing different concepts, different images. الذي به يحصل منافعه ومعاشه ويدفع مضاره. So by using this primary level of thinking, human beings make their own living, protect themselves, make some money. الثانية. So this second level of thinking, الفكر الذي يفيد الآراء والآداب في معالاة أبناء جنسه وسياستهم. So it's a higher level. It's a social intelligence. Social intelligence. It produces opinions, also etiquette, how you interact with other human beings, and how you administer them, siyaset. So it's a higher level of thinking. It's not only like a filling your stomach. It's not only protecting yourself. It's about how you establish a state, how you establish an organization, how you establish akhlaq, how you establish law. So regulating the interactions with other human beings. وأكثرها تصديقات. So most of this thinking is about prepositions or judgments. It requires judgments. So the primary level is about تصورات. This one is about تصديقات تحصل بالتجربة شيئا إلى أن تتم الفائدة منها. But this kind of fikr is gained through experience. So not everyone has it. So this requires experience to learn how you manage other people, how you interact with them. But the first level is much simpler compared to the second one. وهذا هو المسمى بالعقل التجريبي. الثالثة الفكر الذي يفيد العلم أو الظن بمطلوب وراء الحس لا يتعلق به عمل. So the third and highest level of thinking is not about practice. It's not about practical things. It has nothing to do with the practical life. It's about that. So this produces al-ilm, certain knowledge, or az-zan, uncertain knowledge. So through this thinking, either you produce knowledge 100% certain, or it's not really certain. It's uncertain. بمطلوب, it's about something that you want to know. It's about something you desire to know, but it's about sense perception. You cannot know it through sense perception. So it's not about the practical life. وهذا هو العقل النظري. So this is theoretical reasoning. وهو تصورات وتصديقات تنتظم انتظاما خاصا على شروط خاصة So it uses both concepts as well as judgments or prepositions in a particular way. فتفيد معلوما آخر من جنسها في التصور أو التصديق. So but at the end it gives you a new knowledge. Either it's a new concept or a new judgment, a new proposition. So actually this is what's really called fikr. يعني they say الفكر الحركة أو حركة الذهن من المعلومات إلى مجهول. يعني من المعلومات إلى مجهول. يعني حركة الذهن. So there are things that you know, you use them in your mind to reach to something you don't know. But at the end, through fikr, you reach this al-majhul. So it becomes known to you at the end. And this new knowledge, either a new image, a new concept, or a new judgment, a new proposition. ثم ينتظم مع غيره. Then, this fikr, you can associate it with another fikr. This new idea that you produced, you can link it with other ideas in your mind, in an orderly, in a systematic manner. فيفيد معلوما آخر كذلك. And then you reach another معلوم, another knowledge by this. وغاية إفادته تصور الوجود على ما هو عليه بأجناسه وفصوله وأسبابه وعلله. So the ultimate goal or the ultimate benefit of this theoretical thinking is understanding existence. تصور الوجود, understanding existence. على ما هو عليه, the way it is. Understanding or knowing the existence the way it is. This correspondence. So your knowledge, if it corresponds perfectly with the outside existence, that's the ultimate goal of nazar. And this knowledge includes ajnas wa fusul, different types, different kinds, different groups. But at the same time, وَأَسْبَابِهِ وَعِلَلِهِ, and also causes of what's happening. So this causal explanation is something very important in scholarly knowledge. Without knowing the causes, this knowledge is not really a respectable knowledge. So this is called tahqiq. Knowing the reasons why things are so. So like you have the knowledge of wujud. Why is there wujud? Why is there something instead of nothing? When you answer this why question, then this is true knowledge. So this why question is the most important question. And when I was a child, my sheikh taught me one couplet which I always remember. لو لم يكن لما لذهب الكلاب بالقلنسوة. I was a very little child, when he taught me this, لو لم يكن لما, if there had not been the question of why, لذهب الكلاب بالقلنسوة. Even the dogs may go around with scholar turban, turban of the scholar. They can pretend they are scholars. But when you ask them why, then awam and khawas are distinguished. So the ultimate goal of al-fikr is to know the whole existence with its composite parts, but also with the reasons behind all of them. This is التحقيق. فيكمل الفكر بذلك في حقيقته. So when thinking, reasoning reaches to this level, then it reaches its perfection. Because the ultimate goal is to know al-wujud. And this wujud includes al-khaliq wal-makhluq. Wujud includes knowledge of Allah Ta'ala, knowledge of your own self, and knowledge of all other beings. وَيَصِيرُ عَقْلًا مَحْضًا وَنَفْسًا مُدْرِكَةً. So in that, when fikr reaches this third level, it becomes like a pure reason, and this person becomes nafs mudrika, a knowing person, a conscious person. Otherwise, he lives in this existence without idrak. يعني لا يوجد عنده إدراك بوجود نفسه وبوجود غيره خارج نفسه. يعني وهو معنى الحقيقة الإنسانية. So this is the essence of being a human being. This is the essence of a human being, that a human being knows al-wujud. And when you say wujud, it includes ma'rifatullah, ma'rifatul nafs, ma'rifat kulli shay, and bi asbabihi. So when a human being reaches to this level, he realizes the true meaning of being a human. All right, so let's stop here until the iqamah. You have time for your questions. Go ahead.
Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome.
For this elucidation and explanation of this passage. My question is actually about the first, the last part. It's a bit problematic and confusing, and maybe you can, if you can explain it more. The last sentence, وغاية إفادته تصور الوجود على ما هو عليه بأجناسه وفصوله. So that's the ultimate goal of the العقل النظري, right? But then when he says غاية إفادته تصور الوجود, and we know here because Khaldun is using logical terms, right? مصطلحات منطقية, like الوجود, التصور, الأجناس والفصول. But then when he said تصور الوجود على ما هو عليه, knowing of existence as it is and in and of itself. بأجناسه وفصوله, here comes the problematic part, because we know that this is a question of definition. سؤال القول الشارع والتعريف بالماهية بالمنطق. التعريف, definition and logic with النوع والفصل. So when we define الإنسان as حيوان ناطق, so الإنسان is the نوع, حيوان ناطق, جنس وفصل. And then there are levels for these categories, like الفصل, ثم النوع, ثم الجنس, ثم الجوهر, ثم الوجود. But then that's the problem when we want to define الوجود, because الوجود has no فصل and has no جنس. الوجود أعلى الأجناس.
Yeah.
So when he says الوجود بأجناسه وفصوله, الجنس والفصل أخص من الوجود. الوجود أعم من الجنس والفصل. So how can we? He is, I think here he is referring to the definition of وجود.
Yeah, يعني he means like maratib al-wujud, maratib al-wujud, or composite parts of the wujud. Because as you said, wujud is jinsul ajnas, يعني wujud is the most comprehensive concept. The most comprehensive concept. It includes everything that exists, including Allah Ta'ala, al-khaliq wal-makhluqat kulluhum. So basically he's saying like knowing all existence and its categories. Categories of existence. It doesn't mean like existence is a category. يعني الوجود له أجناس، يعني تحت الوجود أجناس، وتحت الأجناس هناك فصول. يعني الوجود ليس يعني وجود not homogeneous. وجود has maratib, وجود has أجناس, فصول, etc. Knowing all of them together. يعني. طيب إن شاء الله تعالى. So we are called to salat إن شاء الله تعالى. جزاكم الله خيرا.